The ugliest cars in the system or innovations in transportation? The story of the BMT C Types, coming up. The Brooklyn Manhattan Transit Corporation, or BMT, was incorporated in 1923 as the reorganization of the then bankrupt Brooklyn Rapid Transit Company. For more information and a more detailed history, see our other video on the rise and fall of the BMT. The new BMT set upon its dual mission of improving customer service and shareholder value. The elevated lines used wooden gate cars, so named for their gates at each end of the car. Operations were labor-intensive as conductors had to be stationed between each pair of cars to open and close the gates for the passengers. The conductor on the last pair of cars would close his gates and signal the next conductor until the conductor between the first two cars finally received the signal to close his gates and signal the motorman to proceed. The BMT realized that service could be greatly improved by automating the doors so that they could close at the same time like they do today. Also important was the labor savings, considering the fact that the city of New York had no intention of allowing a fare increase to cover increasing wages and other costs of doing business. The BMT converted 3 elevated cars into one unit they called a C type. Types A and B were subway cars. More about those in a future video. The first C-type unit was numbered 1500, A, B, and C. The doors were cut towards the center of the car and opened into door pockets on the outside of the car. A skirt was added along the bottom of the car to close the gap between the platform and the train. The gap existed because elevated cars were 9 feet wide, but the Fulton Street line had been rebuilt to subway standards, which allowed for 10-foot wide cars. The cars were intended for use on the Fulton Street elevated line. One more unit, number 1501, was built similarly to 1500 in the same year. In 1925, the BMT proceeded to build 25 more C-type units from 75 elevated type gate cars. These production models were built with 2 single-leaf doors towards the end of each car, very similar to the D-type subway cars then being delivered. The D-types were true articulated units, while the C-types kept all of their trucks and merely added an enclosed passageway or open gangway between the cars of each unit. The doors on these C-types opened on tracks on the outside of the car instead of into door pockets. This made construction easier, but the BMT would soon discover that maintenance was a concern, especially when snow and ice fouled the door mechanisms. As you see from this roster, 1500 and 1501 were built in 1923. The remaining units were built in 1925. The middle car of each unit was a trailer. The 2 end cars were motor cars. The combined length of the unit was 137 feet. Seating capacity was 46 in the first and last car and 44 in the middle car. The original gate cars in the series 1450 to 1499 were originally built by the Laconia Car Company in 1907. Laconia Car Company was a manufacturer of railroad cars from 1882 to 1923. The cars in the series 1260 to 1299 were built by Laconia in 1903. Gate cars 1422 and 1423 were built by the Jewett Car Company in 1907. Jewett was a manufacturer of streetcars and interurban cars from 1893 to 1919. The trailer cars that became the middle B car of the unit were originally manufactured by the Osgood Bradley Car Company in 1893 for the Seaside and Brooklyn Bridge Railway. Osgood Bradley was founded in 1822, originally as a stagecoach and sleigh manufacturer. They went on to manufacture railroad cars and were purchased by Pullman in 1930. The C Types remained in operation until 1956, when they were no longer needed, as the remaining Fulton Street elevated segment along Lefferts Boulevard was finally connected to the A line. So, were they innovative, or were they the ugliest cars on the BMT, or were they both?